Oh, here we go. Team No Sleeps in the building. What it do, man?
Man, nothing, man. Blessings on up. You know what I'm saying? 10 toes down to the ground, grinding, ready to rock and roll.
As always,
Yeah,
folks, it's Tuesday. We back in the building. We're gonna talk about the social impact of sport. We got topics tonight for you. So buckle in, get you a drink, get you a snack, or whatever the case may be. We gonna dive in, but we also have a guest with us tonight behind the curtain, and I'm gonna let Montel do the introduction since this is his partner, and I definitely want to get it done the right way. So Montel, I'll let you introduce the man.
absolutely, absolutely. Everyone, I'd like to introduce a great young man that's doing big things. He's an author, an entrepreneur, and he's a visionary, which is what I love about him most. Met this young man years ago, and I've seen him mature and grow, and now he's doing such big things. I'm so proud of him. And I'll let him tell a little bit of his story. But Anthony Walker, please bring him to the show.
Definitely. Oh, look, here we go, Mr. Walker. How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, brother. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely, man. We appreciate you. Look, no one can introduce themselves. We can give the elevator pitch, but you know what? It's always better coming from the person themselves. Give us a little background on you, who you are, what it is that you do, and to be honest with you, as you talk about that, let's talk about the company that you have, and let's talk about this book that you've got coming out because that right there is, I think, incredibly valuable. And I want to make sure that we touch on that as well, bro.
Yeah, so like Montel mentioned, we've been knowing each other for years. First and foremost, good brother. I remember his son when his son was young. I think his son is in college now. Um, but uh, but yeah, my name is Anthony Walker. I'm an entrepreneur. I have been on a quest, I would say, over the last year and a half to help educate people as I've been educating myself on entrepreneurship, business, and finances. I have a really cool and interesting background as far as like my parents are concerned and the way that I was raised that I feel like gives me a unique perspective into, like I said, entrepreneurship and business. So I started off by just sharing what I've learned over my lifetime, and then that grew into a clothing brand, as you can see on the screen. And the clothing brand was kind of to demonstrate to people that what as I was teaching about entrepreneurship, to demonstrate to people what it looked like to do this idea of entrepreneurship. And then from there, recently, I just wrote and launched the pre-order for my first ever book, which is called B is for Black Wealth. It's available today for pre-order. And essentially, it's doing the same thing that I've been doing, and I'm teaching people the principles of business, the principles of finance, and for me, the principles of collective economics, and specifically what it takes for Black people to grow our collective wealth. And I just repackaged it for children. So I hope that helped. I hope that was a good
Yeah,
intro.
listen,
That's
man.
what I'm talking about.
Like
Yeah.
my grandma always said, give people their flowers while you can, man. And what you're doing, especially with this book, focus on our youth, uh, matters and resonates. I might bring you back for Black History Month too, man. So we could talk about this next month. But pre-orders, like you said, are open now, and you plan to start shipping. It looks like around the 15th of next month is actually when the book will start being in people's hands.
Hopefully so. I should know by the end of this week.
Okay.
Originally, the original date was February 15th, but I actually had to add some books to the order just
Okay.
based on the volume I was getting. So I should know, but as of right now, it should be February 15th to March 1st is the expected delivery date right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on the book. Congratulations on the business. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge. So you've got the clothing brand as well, but I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to Mama Nixon, who is in the building, who is the proprietor of the merch store that I use for my
Hey,
gear. And
hey.
so there we go. One half of Press and Sew in the building. Sylvia, check out his stuff right here. This man right here is doing some big things as well, and I like the mission and I like the goal of what he has. Let's look. I'm going to buy this one right here. Own Your Masters. I told I might let me go ahead and put it in my bookshelf right now. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in my shopping cart right. Oh, after too. I can pay in 4 easy payments. I'm gonna get two of those. So
Yeah, I don't know if we got. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what sizes we got on your masters right there. You could check though.
Let me see. I'm gonna go. You know, I like to let the muscles look stand out a little bit. You got it. You got it. Black
Okay,
large.
cool,
Yes,
cool,
sir.
perfect.
Watch.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's be cognizant of everyone's time, and let's go ahead and get focused. Like I like to say, Montel, you brought up some stories today. You kind of kicked off a Twitter storm. Right.
Yeah, man.
I think that's the best way I can put it. You kicked off kind of some conversation about something. I'm gonna bring the image up, and I'd like you to dive into why you sent this message out, why it resonates to you, and kind of, and then let's go ahead and have kind of discussion around that. So you sent out this tweet right here.
hmm You want to go ahead and read it so everybody can see
Yeah,
it?
definitely. So, you know, people wonder why I advocate bringing D2 football back in California. The targeted demographic for prisons are men the age between 18 to 26. D2 football could have prevented a ton of young men from being ex-cons and becoming executives. This is facts. And the image is here. Yes, since 1980, California has built 22 prisons and only one university. That's a
Yep.
problem, right? That's the wrong way for the math equation to go. So you've gotten a ton of responses, retweets, requotes, and engagement
Yeah.
on this, and I think that matters and that resonates. So let's go into that. Talk to me first of all, again, why you felt the need to send that out.
It's just a feeling. I think we're in the midst of recruiting right now,
Mm,
especially for football. And I'm seeing all these young men that are not going to have a home to play next year. And it just thought about it, was like, where is the opportunity for them in California to play? Because we know everyone can't be Power Five in Division One.
yeah.
Um, and let's negate that. It just should be more homes for these young men to have an opportunity to go play. Football is not the end all of all. Sports is not the end all of all, but it is a mechanism that attracts you to become educated at the next level. It's an attraction mechanism. That's why we have it. We have it in high school, and that's why we have it in youth. We have it for this. These are things that attract us to be able to go. And in college, football was just a big part of my life. I mean,
Right.
it basically molded. It helped me mold me to the person who I am. It molded my colleagues and my friends who I'm around that have lifelong friends. It molded them to who the person they are, and it taught us to become. It gave us that opportunity to learn what kind of adult to get our education, to be able to have that piece of paper to enter the workforce. And I've seen a lot of kids missing out on this opportunity, especially in the state of California. It's hard. It's hard to leave the state to go play sports. It's hard to leave the state when you don't have that support mechanism. It's hard to leave the state when you just don't financially have the money to do it. When these resources used to be available in California, now they're no longer not. And this is indicative why. I think this is one of the reasons why. The only way the prisons make money is to have bodies. They have to have people
Mm,
sitting in.
wow.
So if you eliminate a demographic of people being attracted to go there, you got to think if 10 schools have football, now they no longer have it, and that demographic is usually average of 100 men. That's 1,000 possible men that could end up in that space to fill those seats up.
Crazy.
Instead of we having 1,000 men in school getting educated. So it speaks volumes to me in a lot of
Yeah.
different ways. And I think the state of California, just the focus of it, it shifted. It shifted into capitalism instead of investing in people, and then people
Interesting.
be able to come
Okay.
up with that capitalism. I'm glad my boy is on here. Anthony's on here because you talk about generational wealth and what mechanisms can help change that. How does this speak to you?
Yeah.
I mean, first off, I agree with every single word you said, and I'm super interested I'm gonna go on Twitter afterwards to see what the people had to say in the comments. But I agree with everything you said. I think at the end of the day, everything that I speak to goes back to investment. So,
hmm
like, yes, we have to, as Black people specifically, we have to make sure that we are doing things to take care of ourselves. But the reality is that we haven't been invested in this particular country, and that's a big reason that we're in the position and the situation that we're in. So I think for our generation, it's important that we grow a critical amount of resources so we can invest in the next generation. It would be great if the system would, like you said, if we have more, that perfect example, if we have more D2s in California, there'll be less people in prison because that's investment. That's what
Yep.
investment looks And unfortunately, the system invests in things that are not always to our benefit. And I think for me, my biggest message is let's figure out how to create a decent amount of wealth, and let's invest in the generation that's coming behind us.
I love that.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think that's another piece of it. Obviously, we have to invest in ourselves and get that situation going. I even looked at it in a more of a macro situation, especially in the state of California. And I'm talking in wholes. I mean, we have to think if this was an opportunity that was presented there. These might not be the NFL guys, but this are the people that are analysts. These are people that are going to go into biotech. These are people that are going to go into, the traditional farming system as far as the business side of it, or even or creators of engineers, forestry. These are all people that are not only going to be able to do that, but they are going to go back into their communities. These are going to be taxpayers. They are going to be buying homes eventually. They are going to be entrepreneurs and open businesses and hire people eventually. That whole generation from and I know football got cut off in 1996 for a lot of schools. So let's say from 1996 all the way to right where we're at right now, 2022, have been damn near 2 generations lost of educated men of color, not just black men. We'll talk about Polynesians. I think Hispanics fall in there, but they fall into kind of a different category because their population of Hispanics in California have grown so much. But definitely of a lot of black and brown, that opportunity for just those men is gone. It's gone. It's not. There's no way to go with that. It's going to be continually to be gone until we have an avenue to attract them to schools. Like some people go to school because they want to be doctors. So you know what? They go to school with a good doctor program. We have people that like to play music, so they go to school with a great arts program. Why is it unjust for us to go to school because they have a football program? And then we learn as we go along, as we get there, we learn where we want to be as far as the professional realm is getting a degree. And then we expand on that as we go. So it reeks volumes of different things till it's been eliminated. And I'm disturbed why.
Well, you're a product of this. Shouts out to you, Mr. Strong, in the building. Again, you're a product of this, right? From the D2 ranks, right? So you lived through that, and there used to be a show on ESPN called Numbers Don't Lie. When you've got this type of representation, when you see 22-1, and you realize that ratio is wrong, and you can't doubt that, and you can't deny that, especially when you go out there and look at the facts, right? Go out there and do the facts yourself, folks. Go out there and do your Google searches, do your Yahoo searches, whatever the case may be, and look at these numbers. And this is just California. We're leaning and we're talking more about football because, again, you're a product of that. But, at the core of it, I like what Anthony was saying. It's all about the educational piece, right? There's money enough to build these multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar, whatever institutions for incarceration. However, we're trying to we want everyone to be successful. We want everyone to thrive. We want everyone to have a positive output on life. We want everyone to be a positive influence on their communities, right? The Martin Luther King. We want that. Why is that investment? And this is a society question. That's why we have these social impact conversations. This is a societal conversation. I'd love the folks in the audience to ask or the answer as well. Why is it that such a disparity in what are we, the 4th largest economy on the planet?
Fourth or fifth, we're the 4th or 5th largest economy in the world.
That number there doesn't make any sense for when we. It's not a lack of resource, right?
Yep.
We've got the resource here. Look, California is so big. They're talking about splitting us into 2. Right. So, and they're down south where you are is the Hollywood money. In the center is all of the agricultural money. Up here where I'm at is all the technology money. So there's liquidity in this state, but there's inequality as well. And it's not just, again, like you said, the black and the brown. It's everyone. But just the fact that number is so dramatic is concerning to us, and would love to hear folks in the audience as well chime in. Go ahead, Montel. I know you wanted to say.
It's you're right, and it's big. It's a big problem because we don't. I think it's a big problem. I think there's been a failure of private industry investing in it.
Yeah.
I think there's been a big failure of the state investing in it. I think there's been a big failure in us investing in it. Us fighting for what we believe is right. I'm using football just as an example, but we got to look at these schools, these institutions across California. We basically, blacks, especially in the smaller schools, we make up just about maybe anywhere between 4 and 2% of the population of schools. That's unacceptable. That means only 2 or 4% of us is getting educated in this state with college degrees. There's a problem with that. I'm not just talking about. I'm talking about us, Native Americans, Polynesians, and I'm talking about men specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doubting women. Women just they get all the just due they get, and they rightfully deserve all of it. But it's somewhere along that line they forgot about us getting our education. We've been the one that's been always the ones that get cut. It's been cut behind for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use football as a mechanism because that's the one that's predominantly mostly men. It's the largest sport in most schools because it houses 100 anywhere from 100 to 140 men. I'm saying if you want to go behind the Title IX, which I agree with, every woman should get. If every man gets a scholarship, every woman should get a scholarship 1-for-1. But you can't do that with football because there's no women's sport that has that many participants in it. So Title IX, in my opinion, should be readjusted either on a percentage base, or in California, we can go non-scholarship at the Division II level. It can be a non-scholarship thing because state schools are fairly affordable. Give them grants for academic grants to be those the ones that have high GPAs or can earn grants with a higher GPA while they're in school, and let them participate because now that's still drawing the mechanism to get them into school.
Yeah.
If nothing attracts you, you don't go. You don't go to it. You only go to the movies because you're attracted to the movie. Either the theme of the movie or somebody that's acting in the movie. Otherwise, you don't spend your dollars.
Yeah, I'm old, so let me say this before I forget, before it falls out of my head, and then I'm gonna bring you in, Anthony, because I want you to interject as well. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about why we watched NFL and why we watch football, right? Because I brought it up during the Kaepernick thing situation where we said we were done with football, but here, sure enough, we all back. We watch him because it is what it is. And we're watching, and you really made it click in my head. We're watching it because we see a lot of folks that look like us succeeding and doing well and being financially, hopefully, stable, right? They get them big bonuses, they get the big checks, and they take care of their family. That's what sports does. Because a lot of times the youth in the inner city, that's what they have, right? As opposed to standing on the corner and hanging out with somebody that's probably up to no good. We gravitate to baseball and to football and to soccer, whatever the case may be. We gravitate to those types of team activities. And by not having locations, institutions that foster that what we're trying to do, right? I can't even think of the word right now, but if we don't have any place to go to build on those desires and those needs and those things that we're looking into doing, then we do start getting into trouble, right? So Anthony, let me real quick, let me bring this back though again, because it's a challenge and it's a problem, I think, within society for the fact that, why are we not investing in our youth the way that we know we should be, right? We back in the day, we're all over 40 years old here. I got a couple more decades on you as well, but there used to be that nuclear family where you had your grandmother, you had Big Mom, you had your aunt, you had all these folks that were watching you and making sure that you grew up for the most part in the right frame of mind, and you had the support. It seems different today, right? And especially talking about from a financial perspective. Why is it that our youth are 18, 19-year-olds who are now at college who are getting NIL money, don't know how to use that money the right way or save that money and invest it? So I really think, I know I'm talking in circles, but I really think all of this is related, because if we don't build the institutions to help support and proliferate positive change and influence in society, that's where you get 22-1, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me interject one more time. Anthony, let me go one time before you go in there. Yeah. To add on to that, why aren't institutions investing in our young men? I want to know that's kind of one of the. Why aren't these educational institutions not developing mechanisms to attract us men to go to those schools? I want your perspective on that part as well.
Yeah, I think exactly what you both are saying makes perfect sense. Why the investment isn't there is the part that I don't know. I think that's the part that we all battle with on a certain level, right? Because it's like, y'all see us, you know what I'm saying? And you see what we need. So why are we not responding? And I think that's a question I don't have the answer to, the why part, right? But I think the important part is understand that that's what needs to happen. We need to be invested in, and we need to do the investing as well. So I think, yeah, I don't even, yeah, I don't know the answer to the question, but I know that you asking the right questions. We're going in the right direction.
You didn't know what you were stepping into, right? Again, we bringing smoke out here, man. So again, we haven't talked about.
Now we're going in the right direction, and we're asking the right questions. Like, why is there a lack of investment? I don't know, but I know that that's what it takes in order for the young men, specifically, we're talking about young men, to be put in better positions, and that's what's going to change what society is like right now. Because we're the most carceral society in the world. America has more people in jail than anybody else.
Yes, sir.
So, and part of it is sad because where the money flows, you know what I'm saying, is kind of where investment goes too. Like, people are profiting off of those prisons. They're making big money off of those. And,
absolutely.
Not to say they're not. They're also making big money off of sports. But I guess that's where like imagination comes in. Like, what can we create what kind of industries can we create to where it makes sense to invest back into our youth? Does that make sense?
But look at what you just said though. See, you look at the demographic you cut off. Like, they're not cutting off the big part of sports where they do make their money off the Power Fives, the UCLA's, the USC's. You're cutting off the smaller schools where we know these are the young men that are going to go in the workforce.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're going to go into the local workforces where they come from or within that state. I'm going to graduate from Humboldt State. I have the ambitions to play in the NFL, but the percentages are against me that I'm not going to make it. So you know what? I'm going to take my degree and go become a teacher. I'm going to go become a police officer. I'm going to become a fireman. I'm going to work in high-tech industry. I'm going to go work in wherever I'm going to go work at. But I'm going to be a commodity in the workforce now. I'm going to be a person that's going to be able to make $50,000 a year in the workforce, in my community, now developing not only intellectual wealth, but also wealth for my community, because now I'm not robbing from it. I'm not pillaging from it. I'm actually investing back in it because that's where I'm spending my dollars. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's a bigger cycle than I think. It's a huge cycle that people have just completely missed off on for the small percentage of stockholders to make a profit off of building a prison and having bodies sitting.
This is my question to you, though. This is my question to you. So I agree 100%. Like, D2 football could put a big dent in some of what we're talking about, right? So my question is, and not to change the subject completely, but my question is, what else can be built? Nothing is like football. I'm a product of, I played D2 football and JUCO football and D3 football myself, and there's nothing like it. I just told y'all at the top of the show, like, I don't even really watch football no more. And not because, I still got love for it. Sometimes I watch, but football has a certain hold on us. You know what I'm saying? And as a young man, it had a certain hold on me. So like you said, like, yes, we go where we're attracted to. But I guess my question is, what else can we build? And not even comparing it to that level of attraction, but what else can we build that young men are attracted to that's going to attract them to want to have success? We know we got it in sports and we got it in hip hop. But like, culturally, is there anything else that we could make? You know what I'm saying? Like, make sexy enough.
Until before you keep in, I just want to say something right now, because I just saw the aha moment happen for you, brother. Now you see where we go, where we take these conversations, right? We haven't said nothing about the Lakers score or nothing yet. We didn't start going into how investment matters for community and how, again, this resonates with folks going to advanced education and staying out of trouble. That's what we're getting into, right? And no one else is having this conversation. Go ahead, Montel. But you know what? Let me go ahead and bring up this comment by Laura before you chime in, because Laura Williams is in the building. She says, we need to invest in our teen development, and mentoring from 13 to 25 is important for our society to develop leaders of the future. And then she mentions, the school to prison pipeline is a real thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So people realize that this is an issue. People People knew this was an issue before this tweet went out, before you pushed this tweet out, before this 22 to 1 graphic went out. It's always in the back of our minds. We know about it. It's like that ugly stain or something on the carpet that you want to cover up. We're not covering up. We're going to go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Anthony, definitely what I think we need to invest in, and I've said this on the show before, we need a historical black college in California on the West Coast.
Agree.
Now we have something that, regardless of sports, you can go somewhere and identify with that person, learn, educate yourself, and get that degree. Because as me and you both know, that piece of paper, regardless of people want to say it doesn't mean something, it means a lot. And it's starting to become the have and the have-nots in this world. As the capitalism grows, it's the have and have-nots. If you don't have that piece of paper, which will be your starting point, it's going to be hard for anyone to maintain at least a lower middle class lifestyle in this country without being able to get a job or be able to start their own business, because now you can't get a loan without your degree and so on and so on. We need to be able to have institutions where they can become educated and feel comfortable being educated and being attracted to that mechanism of education, of becoming educated.
Mm-hmm.
That I believe that's the key. I mean, I believe that's key. I would like to see a historical HBCU on the West Coast, somewhere where we can go, be in there, see some teaching us and so on and so on. But also, like I said, I think the quicker fix is, like I said, bring some D2 football or allow these schools to have football to be able to attract more men to be able to get in there. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I sit with it. Go ahead.
You know what's crazy? When I was in high school, for whatever reason, I never could have imagined what like an HBCU experience was. Like I never was and I'm, like my father is very pro-black, and I've always had that mentality based on him, right? And based on my upbringing, but nothing ever compelled me to say, man, I wonder what it would be like to go to an HBCU. And I think a lot of that has to do because it's so far away. Like we don't even California, you're like, man, like we don't even realize. But if we knew what was up there, we'll be lining up trying to go to them HBCUs, man. If we knew what was,
you're talking to the choir, brother. We didn't have that conversation that there needs to be that in on the left coast for sure. Yes, sir.
That needs to be that. That's my proven point. I mean, I've said it many times. With all these billionaires that we have in California, these millionaires, these Kanye Wests, these Oprah Winfreys, and all them, they can go build all these other things. They can go build clothing stores and clothing lines and do all these other things. I have a hard time figuring out why they haven't came to the realization. Why don't we bring that experience to the West Coast? Why don't we build those things in school? You can go build those schools in Africa. You can build these elementary schools here. They can go build these music centers wherever else. But why haven't they said, you know what, a prime place to be able to build a HBCU and bring that experience to generations of people would be epic. That's a changer. Yeezys don't change my life. That would change lives. That would change everything ever. That would change everything Oprah's ever done, because that's going to be generational. People will go to that school, get educated, have an accredited education, and move forward. And bricks and mortar costs a lot of money, but they have a lot of money, and it's a write-off to the state because they're investing in the educational form. I just don't see, man, where we as people are missing the boat, where we're missing that boat and investing in ourselves, because they do it in all these other schools. That's why those schools exist. The Harvards exist because they built that school because they wanted themselves to be educated at a high level. Why don't we have that investment here on the West Coast for the Dr. Dre's and all them to put their money up and put it where it matters and be able to invest in all of us out here? And that includes the companies too. I don't just want to mention our entertainers, but I'm saying the companies too.
Yeah.
Why isn't Facebook? Why isn't Google? Aren't them jumping on saying, this is an opportunity we can be able to put something back into the community as well and eliminate that gap. It would eliminate that gap, or really shrink it a lot. It'll shrink it a lot to really have those avenues there.
So this my only challenge to that. And again, it's kind of like a reframe of the similar question I asked. Is like, I guess this the question, man. What else can we build though? What else can we? Because we personally can't build that college, right? But what can we build is my question. And like, I'm asking you because I respect what you have built, Montel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've watched you build a pipeline to get student athletes into, you know what I'm saying, into playing college football. Like, I've seen it. Like, I've watched you build a football game. You know what I'm saying? Like a all-star game, a yearly all-star game that people love to come to. So I guess as a builder, I'm just and I want our imaginations to go. Like, what could we build us? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, that might not take $1 billion. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Let me
Yeah.
but
chime
could be
in real
helpful though.
quick
Could
too,
be helpful.
because I mean, and I think this is real poignant that we have you here with us tonight as we talk about this, right? And I think a focus on entrepreneurship, a focus on owning your masters, like you call it, like we say, right? Being financially stable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, financial wealth and generational wealth comes in time, but being financially stable, I think, is something that needs to happen and be taught at an early age. Those mentoring, those types of tools and programs, that needs to happen. That's what we can build. We can be less focused on ourselves, just the folks that live in our house, right? And be conscious of what's happening within our community as a whole, right? Go ahead and mentor those youth that live around the corner, even though they sitting at the park and they look like they're causing trouble. Go up there and look. I'm pointing one finger at y'all. I got three pointing right back at me as well. That's something that we can build. We can start tearing down those walls, and especially look again. This our conversation is for everyone, but when it comes to black men and black folks, we always feel we got to do what we do by ourselves and we don't like to collaborate.
Mm,
That's a problem, right? I don't see
facts.
why we can't lock arms and do something and do what we're going to do positively together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we can do. We can change that whole that generational mindset of uh, uh, only I can come up. I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm gonna
Well,
leave y'all back there in the street. But so
I,
that's where we can start. That's a piece to the puzzle. It's obviously not the solution. But Monte, I'll let you kick in. Mom,
yeah,
I
yeah.
see
I
your
mean,
comment. Mom, we gonna get to you in a minute.
I
Um,
yeah.
love that though,
I
Brother
believe.
James. I love
Yeah,
that though,
I
Brother
believe.
James. I want you to know that. I love what you just said.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I also believe. I believe that's summarize that pride is overrated. We
Mm,
as black folks need to quit having so much pride and be able to ask for questions and ask for advice and ask for guidance and ask for and ask for a helping hand when you need it.
yeah.
Because the
Mm-hmm.
bottom line, if we don't do that, it never happens. And I see our counterparts, our white counterparts, they do it all the time. They don't believe in
Mm-hmm.
that pride thing. They definitely go out and they ask help and they go get it. That's how they're able to function. But back to what you were saying, Anthony, about what can we give, and I think we can give our experiences, we can give our mentorship, and we can give opportunities.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that I think we miss. This misses a lot on. We don't give opportunities. I try to do as much as I can. I know Mino Jones, young brother, just went to college, graduate. I got him in the door. I helped him get in the door. He's graduating. Now I'm mentoring him getting a job. I helped him get a summer internship at Western Digital. Now I want him to get a job because I want him to be another person to have a gateway
mm,
to help the next person that's coming up. And I think we need to do more of that. As collectively as we are in the professional realms, we need to be able to give that back because that helps more. Because the more we able to open those doors for them to kick down those doors, now they're gonna be able to kick down another door for another person, and that's how we get ourselves in.
yeah.
And what I mean by I mean get into corporate America, get into other institutions where we're not so prevalent in, or we don't have a lot of people in there. So I think that's the way. At least that's the way I can see myself giving back because I don't have millions of dollars. But the little
Mm-hmm.
the little crumbs I do got, man, I don't have no problem helping another brother out or just get if it's just advice he needs, yes. If it's a few dollars, absolutely. Whatever it takes to make sure they get over that hump because we don't need another derelict, man. We don't need another rapper. We don't need another person hanging
Yeah.
out in the corner. We need another person in that corporate room. We need another person in that analyst room. We need another chemist in there helping out
Talk about it.
because that's gonna change that's going to change the dynamic of what we're doing in the community. And also, we can't forget, man. We got a lot of brothers that forget, where they came from and forget to reach back.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is sad because they feel that they made it. Now they don't feel they need to give the keys to somebody else to open the door for them because either they feel they're going to get surpassed or somebody's going to be threatening them. Where it's not a threat, man. Now you're stronger actually now that you got a team. Two heads are better than one, three is better than two, four is better than three.
Here it is. We always
The
talk
strength
about
of
team,
numbers.
right? We always and we come from the sports world. Look, black folks need to stick together like super glue to build, like Mama Hicks said. I love that. That's a great statement, right? So I mean, Look, the tweet you put out, man,
Mhm.
this sparked all that conversation, right? This really just pulled the Band-Aid off, right? And exposed the problem. We the three of us live in California. Anthony, you still in California?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right, we all here, right? So we live this and we see this on a daily basis. It's on our news, it's on our KCRA and our on our KTXL, whatever, right? We see this all the time. But listen, I know I got folks on here from Florida. I know I got folks on here from New York. I got folks on. We got folks from all. I got some Texas folks. Shout out to I see you, Mr. Davis. This is happening everywhere, and just the start is having this dialogue and not sweeping it on the rug. The start is actually writing something down and saying, this is what I'm going to do. And then the action comes with us going out there and reaching out to, let's start with the youth first, because again, it's harder to teach the old dogs tricks. Right, you go out there to somebody. I do. I see you shaking your head, Montel. But and I'm bringing this back. I'm bringing this back to Anthony's book. Right, again, the fact that he's focusing on the youth in terms of black wealth. B is for black. B is for black wealth. Right. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So just starting with folks in terms of being aware, cognizant, and familiar with how they deal with their finances, because that right there takes a lot of pressure. When you're not worried about is the SMUD or the PG&E going to be dealt with, when you got some food in the refrigerator, that takes a lot of stress out of the house, and that keeps you from wanting to take that brick and going down there to the Safeway and knocking the door down to do whatever, right? So that alleviates a lot of things, and then you can take care of yourself, you can take care of your kids, you can take care of your grandparents, that kind of thing. That's at the core. What you're doing, Anthony, helps to solve this problem, this 22-to-1 issue, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Montel. Go ahead, man.
No, that's the goal.
Go ahead, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, that's honestly is the goal, right? And I think that education is a liberating factor. I think education and what we know does help liberate, but I also recognize that that's not the only liberating factor, and it's oftentimes not enough, right? Because we got a whole lot of brothers that go to prison and they read books and they're educated. They come out and they're educated, but they still don't have any opportunities to go back into what Brother Montel said. So my real goal with the book is to organize our people, right? And we can't organize everybody, but if I could start with a small number of 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people, and I could organize them with phone numbers, emails. I could have central locations where we could all communicate with each other. Now we have a chance. To me, that's kind of like, that's what I see as important for me to build, is like, how do we organize around this idea of growing our wealth? And then from there, I think we could do powerful things.
Man,
I 100% agree. I think that's why I bought a book. I bought a book for my kids to be able to read it, because they need to be able to understand that from a perspective where they can understand it, and then hopefully be implemented as they get older and older and older, and let that be their baseline or their base values on financial literacy. Back to your question, James, like you said, you were saying about who does this need to touch. I'm tired of the ADs, because it's not working with them. It needs to be. I'm hoping somebody with a political background hears this conversation. I really do.
Yeah.
I hope there's a mayor or a congressman or a senator or somebody out there that hears this conversation,
Pastor.
because we are. Let's be honest with you, man. We're killing the moral foundation of family and men without giving them an opportunity to be educated and get those kind of jobs. It kills the family. Let's be honest with you. The traditional family, as we know in black households, it exists, but it kind of doesn't exist. We're used to having single mothers raising kids. That is the norm that we're used to. No other race is used to that. None. Oh. Even when they get divorced, they go get remarried and they have a blended family. Mm-hmm. We are the only dynamic family that creates that. That's created because men take chances because they're not able to provide for their families. You don't take a penitentiary chance because you're not able to provide.
Facts.
It's the only time you take a chance.
That's true.
You're like, I'm going to do this because I can't make no money. I can't get a job making money. I can't do this making money. I'm not making enough to pay, to help my family out. I gotta go do something to make it happen, whether it's legal or illegal. But if you eliminate that and says, you're educated, you don't have to take that chance. You're going to get this paycheck every 2 weeks that's going to be able to cover all that. And you ain't got to worry about it. That's that stress you're talking about. It gets alleviated. You don't got to worry about it.
Boy.
So I read a quote. Somebody said, "Sports saves lives."
Yeah,
it's absolutely true. Because that's my belief. That's my truth. That's where I live through. Sports saves lives. And if you keep cutting off that mechanism where we're not able to play sports to get that level of education, it ain't gonna be 22 prisons to 1. It's gonna be 25 to 1.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 28 to 1.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 30 to 1. They're gonna keep building these things because it's profitable for them, and it keeps cutting off the mechanism of us having men out there. And I'm not just talking about, this isn't a black, white, green, orange thing. This is more of an economic thing. Because if you're in that lower thing, you're gonna take chances. If you're in a trailer park or you're in a lower income and you white, you're gonna take the same chances I'm taking. You're gonna do whatever it does to help you feed your family.
Yeah.
That stress is gonna fuel that. So it's not a black and white. I know we're talking about us as black people, but this is an economic issue.
Yeah.
This has to do with the social economic status. Those are when you take those chances. Those are what are building those 20 to 1 prisons. And us as a people are not fighting for them to build more universities or put stuff back or put these sports back in universities or put programs back in universities to help us out. We just keep allowing them to cut. They cut arts programs in schools. They cut sports in high school. They're trying to get rid of Pop Warner football. Yeah. We're allowing them to keep doing these things.
Oh, they're trying to get rid of Pop Warner. You said they're trying to get rid of Pop Warner? What's going on with that?
State of California, they're trying to eliminate tackle football for you.
That's crazy.
That's out there. Listen, this conversation is poignant, needed to happen. I'm glad we had it. I want to bring this coming up before we move on, but we definitely going to have part 2 of this right here. And Tony Davis, I appreciate you, man. He says, you guys are the ones to start this off. We just need someone to listen to the vision. And Montel, you were bringing it up, right? The politicians, I said the pastors, we said the executives, folks that are in those conference rooms, that are in those places of power are the ones who need to take this and resonate with it. So look, I'm gonna put the onus on the community that is listening right now. Share this segment with folks out there in your circles of influence, in your spheres of influence, to do something about this, right? Let's go ahead and raise this awareness. Let's go ahead and light this fire under this conversation and see about doing something. We got a couple of other stories to go on to, but I want to give some shouts out and some recognition to Mr. Natividad too. And he asked a question, and Montel, I'm gonna let you go to this. What's the advantages to an HBCU over an existing left coast college? And that's a valid question, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I'm gonna leave it to both you. Let me start with you, Anthony, because you brought it up a little bit up again, and we kind of, from a tertiary perspective, we know because we see it, and we don't live it because I didn't go to an HBCU either, but we know of what the culture entails. But let me let you go first, Anthony, and then go into you, Montel.
Yeah, well, I think that's more of a Montel question because that's something that he was specifically, speaking to. For me, like culturally, I think that Black people benefit from institutions that Black people build. I'm not saying it always happens like that. When I think everybody benefits from Black culture, right? But I think that we benefit from institutions that we build. So for me, that would be the difference in my mind. If it's like, oh, okay, we're going to shape what this looks and feels like. And the reality is, like, most colleges are, especially in California, predominantly white. So you might go on campus and be, 3 or 4% of the population. And that makes for a tough learning environment. So I would say that's my answer to that particular question. But I would love to hear Montel expound on that because that's his vision.
No, me, I think just the experience. I mean, to be able to be in an environment and a surrounding where you're taught by people that look like you, the people of authority look like you, and can relate to you and relate to your problems and your issues and the things that you have. I mean, when you go to a traditional college like in California, there's things they can't relate to what we're going through. I think on the HBCU, you have someone that's similar on campus, or somebody that's in a authoritative manner that can help you in these situations, that whatever may happen. They can talk to you about it. They can discuss things about it. It's just the experience of an HBCU. Not to make where as small as just food. The food is different. It's culturally, more to our catering. Mm-hmm. The attire, the dress, the things that go on. the understanding of how we act and move and everything, and the acceptance of that, and not judging from just a book on its cover, what we look like exterior, what we're dressed like when we're walking on campus, but actually can understand what we're going through when we walk on campus and be able to relate to it, and despite all that, still educate us and get us going. It's just an experience that we don't have, and I think people that are going to traditional campus that are white, they have no problem. They don't have to adjust. They don't have to adapt. That would be a place where we don't have to adapt. We can go there and be ourselves and learn. Without having to adapt and have to kind of cater to them. We could just be ourselves. I think we could just be ourselves and be there and learn and enjoy all the things we want to enjoy and have a good time while we're learning. The same way they do on traditional campus. They go on there, they do the thing, and they have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what I think the difference would be. The experience of having an HBCU would be just life changing to a lot of people.
That's a good point, and I concur, and I agree 100%. And it's just I liken it to leveling the playing field, right? And again, just taking that one extra layer of stress, lightening the shoulders a little bit, just walking around the halls of the school. The education is still 100% accredited. It's still top notch. It's just, again, you have one or two other things that you don't have to be as concerned about. Again, I liken it to leveling the playing field. So let's continue to move on, man. This is a great conversation. I think we touched on something here that resonates with the community, and I love that, man, because again, we're talking about the social impact of sport. And like I say, Anthony, I ain't said nothing about my woeful Steelers. I ain't said nothing about Tom Brady going and sitting home and how bad they look. But we had a couple of other stories that we want to get in tonight. So let's see what we got. Kevin Ollie, coach, player, alumni, UConn. Coach Ollie got fired from UConn a few years ago for disciplinary measure. I don't know why he got fired. They say that he violated some NCAA principles and programs and things like that within his program. But he has been, should I say, is the word adjudicated? I've never used that word. Hopefully it means the right thing. I don't know how to spell it, so don't ask me what adjudication means. But it was announced that the UConn has been ordered to pay former head coach Kevin Ollie $11 million for unjustly firing him. And I believe this clears his name, right, in terms of the program and the NCAA violations that he had during his time as the head coach of the team. What are you guys' thoughts on this action, and what do you guys think about just this move by UConn?
I think it's just. They paid him his money because they wrongfully terminated him. But does it clear his name? I don't think he'll work in NCAA again because I think he'll be blackballed.
Really?
I agree 100%. I think it's kind of the damage that sometimes is done in these types of situations.
Okay.
And I wonder if his original buyout would have been $10 million. I wonder if they awarded him, exactly what his original buyout would have been, or if he got more for pain and suffering. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's doing right now, but yeah, I agree. I think that it does hurt him in the long term.
That's true. We wonder what, because we haven't seen Coach Ollie since he
Exactly.
lost his job, and obviously I'm sure that his family is fine since 2018 and all. He's got his salary, his severance, his pension, and things of that nature. So I'm sure he's doing fine. But and this added to his balance sheet works out. But that's an interesting statement. I would have thought that this reopens the door to allow him to at least go into a program, maybe not initially as the head coach, but sitting 3 chairs down and managing and taking care of one aspect of the game. I don't know.
Just like you said, but why I'll be the devil's advocate, but why should he have to do that? He was already in a winning program. He built a winning program at UConn.
All right.
He wrongfully was accused of violating something when he was being successful. Yeah. And now you're telling me, since you paid me this money, I can hopefully go join another program and go become an assistant coach again. When I was reaching the pinnacle, making a tournament and all that. Yeah. It seems to me unfair. Just unfair for what happened to him, and that's why they're paying him that money. I hate bringing things back to race, man, but it always comes back to it. It doesn't happen to other coaches. Rick Pitino, guilty as I don't know how many NCAA violations he's ever been with.
Yeah.
He gets a job like it's no tomorrow. The other cat that's at Louisville, that's at Kentucky right now. Damn, I can't think of his name. He's been convicted of violation of several NCAA things, and even been suspended. And he continues to get another job no matter where he goes, bouncing from Louisville to Kentucky to wherever. So why does he have to now go take an assistant coach job to step back?
That's good
from
point.
your words.
That's a good point.
No, these dudes they just switch programs and keep it moving. When they violate, I'm sure much more things than this guy. I know Rick Pitino, he's been guilty of all kind of stuff, paying players, all kind of crap that he was doing before it was even accepted. But yeah, there's no tarnish on his thing. So I hate to say race, but that's the obvious point too, right? I mean, there's a difference in race, so those guys get different because they can't be successful. Kevin Ollie was really successful in his couple of years there. I think he only had 1 year where he missed the tournament. Actually, he resurrected the program from missing the tournament all these years to get to the tournament again.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's kind of weird, man. It's kind of sad that his name and image is tarnished now, and they're paying. I think they're just paying for future damages. Like, hey, we ruined this guy. Let's just give him his money and just kind of be with it. And I think his name will just be blackballed out there. I don't think he'll get another job. I
don't think UConn is going to go away quietly with this because I don't think they're obviously not happy about having to write this check, and they have this story came out a couple of days, and they have 10 days to make that direct deposit into the Ollie family estates, that kind of thing. Tony Davis talking about blackballing. There's no more jobs. The black coach always gets the short end of the stick. No school is going to touch him because he sued.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate, man. I guess I was trying to be optimistic in that perspective, but I think you're right, man. I just don't know if he's going to make it back to a program where he has the opportunity to be as successful as he was. You got any thoughts on this, Anthony? Just again in terms of just the state of affairs that's happening in Kevin Ollie's fate right now.
I hope you're right. I hope he does, find his way back. But I tend to agree with Montel. It's a good chance he just won't be back, especially at a program of that caliber. UConn is upper echelon. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he makes it back. And we know what it is, man. We're the first to go, last to get hired, first to get fired. And I'm just glad the brother got paid, man. I'm grateful that he got some money about the situation.
Yeah.
That's not the end all be all, but it does, I'm glad he's gonna get that $11 million in the
get
next
that
10 days.
Get a couple of more nickels in his pocket. Let me ask this, and this is off the cuff. So talking about coaches who have done some bad things and have lost their jobs. What's my guy? No, he's not my guy. Jacksonville Jaguars. What
are you talking about?
Yeah,
the head coach of football.
What's
his name
Why can't I think of his name? Maybe because he's so irrelevant that I don't need to know his name. But again, got him on camera doing some things he shouldn't have been doing.
What'd he do?
He was kicking the punter in practice. He lost the respect for the entire team. Obviously, they did not do well. They got the first round draft pick with Trevor Lawrence. Why can I not think of the ex-Jacksonville? Oh, please. Well, so do you think he would get a job back at the same type of level at a different program in the NFL as a head coach? Or before Ollie gets a position offered at type of...
I bet you he's already got offers to go coach back in college somewhere. I don't think he'll coach in the NFL again. I think the NFL is just a different gambit when you go into coaching. I mean, like we've already talked. Nick Saban tried to do it for him. He goes back down to college.
Yeah,
Urban Meyer will get a job in college. He will get a job at a college program. He's gonna wait for the right offer like he did when he left. When he left Ohio State in shambles, doing all those supposedly corrupted things he was doing. He sat out for a year, got the Jackson Jaguar job. Obviously, he didn't change his behavior. He lost that job. There's no reason in the world that's going to make me forget that he's not going to be able to get another job. He's not. He's going to get another job in college or another offer in college. I mean, even his strength and conditioning coach was openly racist and did all kinds of things. He hired him regardless of the fact of the matter.
Crazy.
So that niche and that circle of those coaches guys, they're going to take care of each other. Now, Urban Meyer, if he wants to be back around it, it's going to be a little bit different. He might have to start off like in the analyst role, a senior analyst role, working his way back in the program, showing he's doing all right to go. But you got to think, we got Rich Rodriguez. He's back down head coach now after the stuff he did at Arizona. Kevin Summerlin, the stuff he did at Arizona, and that's a black coach. So when I talk about white or black, we're just talking about coaches. Kevin Summerlin did a lot of bad things at Arizona, left that program in shambles. He's coaching now in the USFL. Those guys are in a circle where they're going to get jobs. I just think Kevin Ali's in the basketball circle, in the basketball world, and the NCAA world, like Anthony said, UConn is an upper echelon program. I don't think he's going to get another opportunity to coach at one of those no more. He may get a smaller school and try to bring and resurrect them again, but he's not going to get that UConn money, or he's not going to get no big time Power 5 program or whatever Elite 8 program in the NCAA job again. I don't think that's going to happen.
That's
not
terrible.
At least for a while.
Yeah, that's terrible. Hey, Tony, looks like, how much money did Urban? His contract was for $10 million, and obviously Jacksonville does not want to give that man that money. I'm sure that's going to go to whatever arbitration, litigation, or whatever the case may be. But he don't deserve $20 out of that contract, to be honest with you, for what he did to that organization. So I see some other folks coming in. Dana, we see you, man. Look, ex-pro NHL player, man. I keep telling, we need you on this show so we can chop it up and so I can fully learn. And Montel probably knows. I just need to learn the rules for hockey. All I know is icing. I don't even know what it means. I just know to say it, right? I don't know what it means, but I need to know the rules. So we need you to come on and give us a master class on hockey. Anthony, you know anything about hockey?
Nothing, man.
Come on, man. See, why is that? Why don't black folks know about? Well, I'm gonna
just that they get the fight.
So why don't we play hockey more? Because whose joke was that? Someone made a joke about that. We get that was Cedric the Entertainer. Y'all remember when he said that joke? Man, if we get to play a sport where we get to fight, man.
Yeah, but you got to fight on ice skates, bro. That's a whole different
ballgame. I can barely walk in my own shoes, and you're gonna make me put on some skates on some ice. Okay, I digress. Let's keep talking about. I like the fact that we got some financial stories tonight while we got you on Anthony. We got more conversation about them Denver Broncos.
Ooh, okay, Robert Smith.
Yeah, so we know who Robert Smith is. Billionaire. The man has done very well for himself. He's shared his knowledge with a lot of folks, and he's helped other folks become very financially stable as well. I think it was 2019 when he gave the commencement speech at Morehouse, and at the end of his speech, he told everyone he was paying all of their college debt. Mm-hmm. So look, that's one of them big baller moves, right? That's a boss move right there. When you can be in front of the graduating class of Morehouse College and say, "I'm paying your student debt." I talked about weight off shoulders and freedom and just the ability to have clarity. That right there, this man did that. Bringing this story up because again, Robert Smith is now in the conversation of possibly purchasing the Denver Broncos. Handful of entities have raised interest in this. We know the Manning boys are, at least Peyton. I don't know if Eli, but we know Peyton is talking about it. We know John Elway has raised interest in it, and they're coming at it with their groups. I think Jay-Z was part of a collective as well. Somebody was in part of a collective to actually purchase this as well, to come up with some cash. What do you guys think about this? We'll start with you, Anthony, in terms of Mr. Smith putting his ticket in the hat to say that I can actually write a check and actually probably own this team as well. What do you think that would do if we had someone like a Robert Smith owning a team like the Denver Broncos?
I think that would be super interesting. And I mean, the thing about sports franchises, they're just going up in value, so it's a good investment. And it says that he's from the Denver area, so that makes it even kind of a cooler story. I wonder who the team that he will put together, what that would look like. But I'm interested to see what John Elway and Peyton Manning come up with. I could see them kind of winning that bid just based on their celebrity and based on John Elway being kind of involved with the Broncos for years. Right. So I could see a group he puts together, but it's no telling in these situations because you got to put together a lot of money You know what I'm saying? You got to check off a lot
Look,
of boxes.
$3.75 billion was what the Broncos were estimated being worth last year. So, right,
Yeah,
that's grown folk money right there, right?
yeah, they're gonna sell for more than $4 billion. It says
Yeah,
so. I don't, like even John Elway's of the world. Like what it depends on how many. A lot of stuff has to go right for them to win those bids. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I think it's interesting, and I'm glad he at least put his hat in the ring for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Montel, what about you? You were coming at
I
it from a
love it.
different perspective.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it just the fact that now we got somebody in the room,
Yeah,
with the other owners to be able to represent us and represent hopefully players that look like him. Where the league makes up 70% of African American players. He can be able to more. I think he could be more understanding, or hopefully at least give them better understanding of what they're talking about when they go to the Players Association, when they either want rule changes or
yeah,
different things for the needs of players of taking care of themselves or taking care of them as far as within that realm of football and the business aspect of it. So I would love to have one of us in somebody in the room to show that we could be ownership. And let's be honest, man, it gives us another role model, somebody else for somebody to inspire to be. We're not inspired to be Jay-Z, we can aspire to be him. He's a billionaire. He made his
yeah,
money a different way. So I think it gives a lot. It will give us a lot of inspiration if he can put together the group that goes ahead and has an opportunity to purchase it. I don't know if the NFL guys will let him in, but I mean,
Yeah.
I hope that they listen to it. I mean, money talks at the end of the day.
yeah.
At some point, everything kind of goes out the window. If you got enough zeros on the end of that check, it talks. So with that being said, I
So
hope him and his group are able to get in there and do some different things, man. I hope they can build a winning. I hope they can build a winning team there.
yeah,
Ownership is one thing, but then you gotta facilitate the
yeah. Put the
building
right
of a
pieces
team and all
around
that
it.
good stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
because I almost wonder, and to what you just said and what Mr. Tony Davis just was talking about, I think back to when Jordan decided to buy the Hornets, right? Yeah, he's Jordan. Yeah, he is what he is and did what he did. But I'm still sure that he kind of probably got looked at a little side eye just coming in. Yeah, he had the cash, but that's a tight fraternity, right? Of folks, especially now. So on basketball, I'm not sure, but on the NFL side, those 32 owners, when they get in the room right now with Goodell, look, it's Robert Smith in that room with 31 other folks right there. That's going to be an awkward situation. But you know what? If he buys a team, he deserves to be in that room. But again,
hey man,
I can't see Jerry Jones. I can't see the
man, he
Davis
gonna be like
family.
Obama. He
Yeah,
gonna be like Obama
yeah,
going into presidency, going in that
right.
room.
That,
That's what
that's
he gonna
that's
feel
tough,
like.
right? Because you
He
know
gonna be the
when
first.
you when you in those conference rooms and then you break off and you go off to the corner, right, and you have the little conversations, everybody smoking their cigars. This is what I imagine, right? And you strategize and talking about your team and talking about stuff. Is anyone gonna invite Robert Smith over to their little circle to chop it up with him, right? That's gonna be awkward, and I think about that stuff, right? I mean, yeah, you deserve to be in that room because you got the cash, and you rightfully so elevated yourself to that point, but separate but
No,
equal,
I think
right?
they'll invite him because the money,
Separate but
the
equal.
money money's money. Money, you making money, money's money. They want money. So I believe that's gonna be that won't be a problem. I think just getting into the door.
Mm,
I think once you get in, you're fine. They'll adjust and adapt. You'll have some adversaries, but you're gonna have some people that's gonna say, you know what? Hey, he's one of us. He got the money. He's in it. Let's do collectively what's great for the league. My thing is, how's he gonna get through that door?
yeah,
You can have the billions and billions of dollars you want,
yeah,
but like you said, he's going against John Elway, who's a fan favorite
yeah.
in
Look,
the
John Elway got
area.
car dealerships all up and down Denver. I done
Yeah,
drove by more Elway Chevy dealerships than I can count.
exactly. So you got
He
him, and
don't
you got
care,
Peyton Manning and his family probably backing him, and the other
man.
investment people backing him, and he won a Super Bowl for them.
Yeah,
And then you have Robert Smith, who's from Denver, which is a great thing. That's just a great telling story. But again, it's like who's gonna crack that? Who's gonna kick the door down for us?
man.
That's my question. I hope he's the person to do it.
I hope so too, man. We need a black owner at this point. And I heard that Aaron Rodgers is thinking about landing in Denver too, and Devontae Adams. I've been hearing
Yeah.
that too. So
Imagine that,
Mm-hmm.
that mess around to happen. They might be
man.
decent if they get a couple pieces.
Look,
Yeah.
Rodgers is the
Yeah.
MVP this year. It's unfortunate what happened, but yeah, look, if he go over there, man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So that would be a good story to see and tell hopefully they give Mr. Smith a chance. They let him do his slideshow and do his analysis and say the pluses and minuses and give him a fair shot, man. Uh, we'll see. So yeah, who would be the majority owner? And that's a question that we don't know yet, right, Tony? We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure that out. But look, when you start talking about $4 billion, and Robert Smith got that money. So he would be that one. He would be that one hobnobbing with the Joneses and the Davises and the Goodells of the world. So we would it would be sure would be nice to see it. He would be that unicorn like Obama was. It just needs to happen, and it needs to happen at all sports, at all levels, at that topper echelon, right? Minorities, women. It just needs to happen. All of those ceilings really do need to be cracked, right? We just need to have that representation.
This is like you said, majority owner, because minority. I know Serena Williams are minority owners
Yes.
in the Dolphins, but they don't have any say. They
True.
they own box
yeah,
seats.
like Shaq and the Sack Kings, right? I mean, he just there to get the seat on the court level. He don't really
But I mean, this will be the first black minority, majority owner of a sports organization that will have a say so in everything that goes on with the NFL. I think that would just be, that'll be awesome, man. It's due. It's due to have, a black, a Latino, a Latina, any, man, woman, something that we need somebody of color to be in that room besides the Jacksonville Jaguars owner. Yeah.
See, don't you got a shirt that says something about representation? Hold on, let me take a look at that. Buy land, man. Look, I'm gonna need a discount code or something because I'm gonna spend a whole lot of money over here. Over here at Finance Friday. I'm gonna make sure to put the link out to it. Yeah, that's no joke. Couple of more stories we won't get in because, like I said, we'll be cognizant of everyone's time. I'm gonna throw a picture up on the screen. I don't know if I've shared it with y'all, but I want to get your first reaction when this tweet went out today. This is your boy Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown rocking his classic number 84. This is today. This is a couple hours ago. He's rocking Baltimore Ravens uniform. Now, y'all remember, y'all sports fans, y'all football fans, remember, was it a week and a half ago? He was playing in the game. He got upset with coach because he decided to go and pout because he didn't think that he was getting the targets that he should have been getting. He ended up halfway undressing on the field, taking off all of his pads, his jersey, his gloves, throwing it in the stands, and crip walking off of the field, and essentially resigned. And the next day, he dropped a terrible rap song. Terrible.
I ain't know about the rap song.
Yeah, you didn't miss nothing. Look, you didn't miss nothing. And Antonio, yeah, he didn't miss it. But now, look at this. But less than a week later, he is rocking what could be his next team. What are you guys' thoughts about Antonio Brown, what he's gone through in his past, what he went through over this past week, and now the fact that another highly competitive, winning organization may have signed him onto their roster?
I don't think they signed him. I don't think they need to sign him for him to take this picture. I think he'd be crazy. He'll take a picture like this just to get us talking about him. So I think I don't know. I know he would be dangerous over there with Lamar Jackson, but I don't see it happening either though.
Like Lance said, yeah, it was terrible. But that rap song that he released was terrible. Good to see you, Mr. Gilliland. Montel, talk to us, man. This is insanity to me.
I mean, given his past, he's a diva. We know AB's a diva. If he don't get his way, he figures out a way to get out there, whether he pouts, boycotts, do whatever he gonna do. But I do believe if this is true, this is where he's going. The Ravens are gonna make a lot of noise when him and Jackson is there. It's just funny. It's funny after all those antics and everybody kind of wrote him off of being in the league where he does now have an opportunity. And let's please believe, Antonio Brown is one of the best when he's out there on the field. So as long as he's catching that ball and he's in the business of winning, helping guys win games, he's going to get an opportunity to play for somebody. And I hope the brother got it right. I hope he goes there. I hope everything works out for him. we just don't need the antics because a lot of young people look up to him.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to do things. You got to do things more of a professional manner, in my opinion. But I mean, if he gets another opportunity to make more millions and do the things he's good at and be successful at, and he leaves the antics alone, I'm all for it, man. Good luck.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and I love this comment right here. We haven't gotten to the truth of what really happened. This is from Tony Davis. He quit, walked out in the middle of the game. We just can't trust that mentality. Again, he's had so many other things that he's gone through, legal cases against him. He's had just antics, like you say, also on the field, and he keeps saying that it's not a mental health challenge. I beg to differ. I think there's either the wrong people around him, and again, we're Monday morning quarterback, and we're being pundits here and just looking at this third person remove. I just don't know if he's got the right people around him. Yeah, he's a baller, right? He can get out there and do some fantastic highlight reel things, but to do what he did again in the middle of the game, go out there and take all his clothes off practically on national TV in front of that stadium, and then blame everyone else, blame Tom Brady for him getting his paycheck that he was getting. Tom is in control of a lot of stuff, but he's not in control of that Tampa Bay money. That kind of thing, right? So Tom being more worried about Gronkowski getting his bonus as opposed to AB. I really think that Antonio Brown has some internal team issues, right? He's got some issues with the folks that are around him that are telling him, go down this road instead of going down this road. You should probably think about it. And we've talked about this before, Montel, right? Again, especially with the youngsters, right? Coming into NIL money, making sure you got the right team around you, because now you got all these different opportunities. AB is already a multimillionaire, and he should know better. Talk to us.
He should know better, but I mean, you got to think, if you can keep acting that way, you keep getting your way, you're gonna keep doing it. It's just like a baby. If a baby knows he can keep crying, you're gonna keep feeding him. He's gonna cry until he's full every time. So I think his antics have been just proving that he can get away with it, and things keep happening to him until he gets something slapped on his hand. But let's be perfectly honest with the NFL. That's the NFL. You can do a lot of bad things, but as long as you can get on that field and score touchdowns and win games for them, they will tolerate that behavior.
Wow.
So this is more of an institution. It's not. I don't want to say supporting it, but it's not doing anything to deter that behavior at all. You're gonna find him $7,500. That's nothing to him. That's not even a game check. That's something he spends on dinner with people.
No,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So let's Antonio Brown needs to do better, but the league needs to do better too in enforcing rules when it comes to this kind of behavior. They allowed him to do it when it was the Raiders. They allowed him to act a fool there.
Yeah.
They allowed him to act a fool now at Tampa Bay. They allowed him to act a fool when he was leaving Pittsburgh. Now this behavior is no different, man. I mean, it's no different than what he's been displaying, and he keeps continuing to get $1 million contracts. So, to me, I just hope he corrects it, because a lot of young eyes look at him, and they like him. They like his whatever it is, his swagger, or his play on the field, or whatever. But that's showing a bad example of what not to act like, because we all can't do that in our regular day-to-day life.
Exactly.
We're not all in the NFL.
Yeah, I can't go act a fool. Look, I wish you would try to go act a fool tomorrow when you clock in. Don't.
You just can't do that. So he sets a bad. Those are the things he sets a bad example of. And I hope he gets it right, man. But I mean, I'm gonna just keep it real. Look at the company he keeps, man. He hangs out with Kanye West and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. We already know Kanye out there, and he hanging out with Kanye.
I cut Kanye off too, man.
Yeah, man. So
that brother, back in the day.
With that being said, man, I mean, if you are around the company you keep, and I mean, that explains AB. That explains his behavior, why he acts that way, man. It's saddening to me, because, like I said, we need to be able to do better, to be better examples.
Don't get much more plainer than that.
What you say, Anthony? What you got?
I think, he has an outside. I didn't think he was going to make it back in the league this last time. I thought it was over after the Raiders. I thought he was done. But now I'm like, he has an outside chance though. There is an outside, even with how it ended. But it's just such bad. What's the word? Like, it looks so bad on the league. I don't know if any team is really going to go for that. But I know seeing that picture made me think like, yeah, he would be tough with Lamar Jackson, man. They might mess around and win a Super Bowl between them two.
Yeah.
So I could
And
only
see,
imagine being an owner like, ooh,
yeah.
like, yeah,
what
man.
what what is Harbaugh gonna do when he got Lamar Jackson and Antonio Brown sitting in the locker room? But Lamar Jackson may be one of the only quarterbacks that can mold and keep AB in
Yeah,
check,
he
right?
got enough
So
personality to kind of. He might be.
you
He
know,
might
so
be,
so
man. I
so,
don't
so we'll
know.
see. We'll see. We wish nothing but the best. You know, bless his heart. We'll see. Just
Right.
don't release no more of these whack tracks on broke down records or whatever they may be, man. We got one more story. We gonna get into it real quick, but listen, folks, this is what we do, right? Y'all know me and Martel come in here and we chop it up. We've been talking for a little over an hour. We had this fantastic guest, Mr. Anthony Walker, and we talk about things that matter and things that resonate around the social impact of sport. Subscribe to the channel, give us your feedback, give us your criticism, share the stories. We talked about some things that really hopefully resonate with you
Okay.
and folks around you as well. So let them see this, and let's continue to do better, and let's try to make this world a better place, right? So we appreciate your support. We're gonna keep doing this every Tuesday. We're gonna keep bringing in fantastic guests like Mr. Walker, and we're gonna just we're gonna do what we can. Last story here. Let me bring this in and see what you guys think about this. Y'all know I'm a baseball person, so I like my baseball stories. Hall of Fame was announced today. The inductees, handful of folks were on the ballot. Couple of cats were on there for their last year of eligibility. That being Mr. Bonds, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa, Kurt Schilling. They on the list. They didn't get in.
So it's over. So it's over for him.
Well, there's one final opportunity to arbitration, or kind of, it's the alumni committee, right? And I believe that happens in August. But as far as the baseball writers, Bonds don't get in, and Clemens, Sosa, Schilling, they don't get in. But David Ortiz got in today. Big Papi got in, and I think that's rightfully. I think he deserves to be in. First ballot, he got in. Look, Big Papi he was a bad man out there doing what he did, even though Big Papi also got caught in some PED issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got in for the fact of for two reasons. He owned up to it early, and what Big Papi did when the country was going through 9/11. Big, right? I mean, you remember when he hit those home runs and he went out there playing, and they were at home in Boston. Big Papi got on the mic and gave that impassioned. I really think he hit kind of the heartstrings of America when we were all down from 9/11, and Big Papi went out there and won everything. You know, the Red Sox won the World Series. It was just, that is what elevated him above all these other folks who also got caught up into some things. Talk to me a little bit about what you think about the other gentlemen who are not getting in, who didn't get in, maybe unless they go through the alumni review, and David Ortiz getting in.
It's BS.
Oh,
Straight up, it's
Talk
BS,
to me.
man.
Talk to me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Papi deserves to be in there, but you ain't gonna tell me he deserves to be in there over Barry Bonds or
No, I'm not saying that.
Or,
I'm not. Look,
but he's getting in before them. He's getting in before him, so it doesn't make a difference. They're making their own personal agenda not to let him in. If it's based on stats and their play, there is no way in the world Barry Bonds should not be in the Hall of Fame.
I completely
There's
agree.
no way in the world.
Yeah, let's not get it twisted. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, so I mean, congratulations, Big Papi. Yeah, congratulations, he's in it. He did a lot of things for baseball, especially for Afro Latinos. He did a tremendous lot of things for them in the community, in the Boston, and I heard he does a lot of things for them. But if we're going on pure baseball, and I'm not a baseball dude, but if we're going on pure baseball, those names that you mentioned, there is no way in high hell or heaven that he should be in before them guys got in. And the writers are making it personal to not let those guys in for whatever reason. Okay. I don't care. Look, I told you before.
You know the reason, though. You know the reason. They know for whatever reason. You know the reason.
Yeah, but I'm saying whatever. But let's take it real. when they were juicing, when they were all juicing,
Yeah.
everybody was watching baseball. Baseball hadn't been that was the highest point of
Sure
baseball
was.
ever.
Was watching Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa do the bash. Look, we was locked in. Yeah.
We was locked in to see what's going on between Griffey, McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Barry Bonds.
Locked in.
Those 3 years,
yeah,
man, everybody was watching baseball to see who was going to break the record, who was going to be the home run leader. Every night on SportsCenter, we was watching to see who was hitting the ball, who was in the slump, who was doing everything. When Kurt Schilling was at his best, we were watching to see him do strikeouts and no hitters and all that stuff.
The bloody sock and all. Look, we know those things. Even if you're not a diehard fan, yeah.
So maybe they were juicing, but let's be perfectly honest with this. Baseball benefited off of them juicing.
Yes, sir.
Baseball was never more popular ever than when those guys were doing that thing. They all benefited off of memorabilia, selling out stadiums, getting TV time. They benefited all off of that. And now you're gonna say, no, we don't want to put you in the Hall of Fame because you would do. I don't care if you put an asterisk by his name, but they should be in the Hall of Fame. Because
I'm gonna put this comment up one more time. Money talks to the liars.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Steroids don't make you hit a ball. Don't make you see that ball coming down the pipe. Steroids don't make you do that.
Yeah,
they don't make your vision that much better. Them dudes was cracking that ball like no tomorrow. Hit 75 home runs, hitting it farther as you possibly. It may give you more power on the ball, more torque, as you guys call it when you swing in the bat. But the bottom line is that baseball benefited so much money off of that.
Yeah.
So why are you gonna shut them now out of the light?
Look, I'm a Pete Rose guy. I think and I've told y'all that too. I think Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall. And again, if you're looking at stats, right, there's a couple of these cats that really should be. They either need to be in the Hall or be in the building across the street that is the Asterisk Hall. Whatever. But they need to get their due and their recognition. Look, man, I watched so many Giants games because Barry was up there at bat and doing what he did. Man, look, that was what made baseball fun, man.
Yeah, man. So
Barry Bonds might be the greatest baseball player of all time.
Ever.
Like even before the juice, man. Honestly, even before the juice, he was a 5-tool player and could do it all. He was hitting 50 homers when he was skinny.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So this is what I say, man. I don't think that Balco generation is getting in. I don't think they're dealing with that Balco generation. Anybody that was involved with the congressional hearings.
So no Canseco, no McGwire. They're not gonna make it.
I don't think so.
They weren't.
And you know what's interesting though? I think A-Rod was up this year too. He was up for it this year too, though.
38%.
That kind of tripped me out that he's not. That it's looking like they told him no, so it's looking like he's getting that same treatment. Yeah. But he wasn't in that whole scandal, right? I know he got
one, but
he got popped for steroids though. I know he got popped for steroids, but
a handful of times.
More than once.
A-Rod, A-Rod was dirty. A-Rod was dirty.
We know that. We know that.
This was only his first year.
You see his body right now, you can tell he did steroids.
Yeah, he was dirty.
But all I'm saying is this: I know the Balco guys ain't going.
No,
that's what I know. It seems like even this next wave of like, if you got
the Balco corridor of the Hall of Fame, right? Here go the Outcast, the Balco corridor of the Hall of Fame.
Balco corridor, they need their own corridor. Yeah, but I feel you though. I feel like it's unfortunate though. Like, everybody was doing steroids. Everybody was doing steroids. Yeah. Even once I found out the pitchers was doing steroids, I'm like, oh, you had to do steroids. Whereas there's no way you was gonna hit off Roger Clemens, bro. You had to.
Yeah.
So my point is. So this is my question. Okay, this is my question. So we know they're not gonna make it. Yeah. But why does baseball get the benefit from those years of success while they were on Balco? Because you got the asterisk on them saying they're Balco, but we both know when everybody was on Balco, dude, baseball. I don't even like baseball. Baseball was when they were playing.
You were sitting in that Oakland A's stadium too, watching McGwire and everybody. Yeah, I was with you right there too.
I was like, man, 27, 28, 31. Oh, Sosa hit 3 today. I'm like, God, dog, dude, these dudes is cracking the ball like no. I mean, that was the most exciting, most vibrant time of baseball that I could ever remember. And I think any time in that pastime. Granted, they were on the Balco thing, or they didn't admit it. They allegedly was on the Balco thing. Mm-hmm. But dude, baseball benefited that so much. They made so much money during that time. And when I think they started kind of to tailor down, or they figured out, hey, this can't keep going, or purists started to say, oh, there's something wrong. Then they found out about it. Now they want to cast these guys away. Cast them all away, at least out of the Hall of Fame books and out of the Hall of Fame and out of the record books and all that stuff. I don't see it that way, man. If ever, NFL, half the dudes in the NFL Hall of Fame has been on steroids. Or some type of drug.
Well, you see,
we don't cast them away.
Well, you see, now you.
No, I'm speaking truth.
Yeah, well, because I immediately think
of Canseco, bro. Blame Canseco.
He was the one snitching.
Either way, I don't care. But I mean, I don't think it's fair, man. I just I don't think it's fair with any of them guys, man. Just because what they say outside or because they offend the writers get the right to say no, you don't get to go in. It shouldn't be that, man. It should be based on your body of work.
Especially when 90% of them writers never laced them up and never been on the field. So there you go. I'm gonna leave that right there.
I do believe it should be based on body of work though, because it's too subjective otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's too subjective otherwise. Because we can do that with everybody that comes through, like clean, dirty. Like we can make our what we think happen with them. So I tend to agree with that too, though.
I agree. Hold on, Moms, are we gonna talk about the statue, or is that appropriate? What are you talking about, Ma? I'm not sure. I must have missed something. Oh my gosh, it did. I'm gonna get in trouble if I missed a question from my own mother here.
Yeah, bro, you gotta answer the question.
I know. Hold please. I'll call you later, Mom, and I'll figure out what it is that you asked. I'm not sure. The comments is flying through because the community is definitely enthralled with the conversation. Gentlemen, we did it tonight. We talked. Before we shut, let me ask this on this story. The alumni committee is going to meet again, I believe, in August, of Bonds, Clemens, Sosa, or Schilling. If they picked one, who do you think they should pick to go in?
Bonds.
Okay.
Bonds is the baddest dude ever to lace him up. As far as I'm concerned,
he's the best I've ever seen.
I agree. Okay. And we'll see. I'll put a timestamp on this and see. I think that they all should go in. I don't like some of the stuff that Schilling has said since he's left baseball. Right? He's kind of gone Kanye on us. But again, when he was out there and he was throwing the ball, man, he was on the mound. He had the bloody sock and he was striking fools out. Roger Clemens, come on, the Rocket, it was good stuff. And fans would be remiss if they didn't get to celebrate their body of work, like you called it, Anthony. Mm-hmm. Mr. Walker, talk to us real quick. Bring us home, man. Talk to us a little bit about what it is you got going on again. I want to talk again about your company. Just give the folks a recap of what you do and the book that you've got coming out, because I want to make sure that folks are aware of that.
Yeah, so Finance Friday is the name of my umbrella company. It's kind of what the merch is under. The merchandise, you can see some shirts and some sweaters and some Letterman jackets and things like that. And through Finance Friday, I ended up writing a book. The book is called B is for Black Wealth. It is available. And I think like the common thread between everything that we're doing is we want to educate around business, entrepreneurship, and finances. And now we just, like I said, packaged it for the youth. But there's really, honestly, in this book, it's stuff for kids and stuff for adults. I think that every Black family should own this book. Like I mentioned, I'm going to use it as an organizing tool. Like more than book sales, I want to be able to have contact with tens of thousands of Black families. I want to be able to have their phone numbers and their emails. So, when it all goes down, we could communicate with each other. So that's my real aim for this particular piece of work. But it's also great education, great values that are in there that I think every Black family should at least digest. Whether you keep it or not, you should at least digest it.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for being here. Montel, as always, man, I'm gonna let you have the last word and take us home, though.
Yeah, man, just stay blessed. Keep those 10 toes down. Keep your head in the sky, and thank God every day, man. Thank you for being on the show.
All right,
yes,
y'all.
Sir. Appreciate y'all.
Mom, I'm gonna call you.